It's Messi! It is the cleanest of clean finishes from the best on the planet.
It's time for the biggest sports stories.
Liverpool, the champions of Europe, on top of the world.
The biggest interviews.
That such a great spectacle is ruined by such thuggish behavior.
And all the analysis right here.
He's the one player that has the arrogance to think that he can play in any stadium in the world and any pitch in the world in front of any player in the world and take them on.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport. Let's join the team for the biggest show in the world of sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.
Top Hit Tuesday. Good evening, Zimbabwe. Welcome to it. Another exciting edition of ZiFM Sport in the offing. Your team in studio is led by our producer, Sean Tafirenyika, and that team is Barry and Mike. The old strike force reunited again in the festive season. And we celebrate with you, Zimbabwe. Remember to play it safe and to keep it clean. We all want to get into 2021. What can you look forward to today? On the home front, the Sports and Recreation Commission, the SRC, say that they are in the process of restructuring the regulatory authority and repealing the old SRC Act in Parliament in a move meant to ensure more efficiency, inclusivity and compliance by national sports associations. In international sports news, of course, we have our staple, the Formula One report, which is proudly brought to you by Zimoko. And today it's a special one because we're talking to Bradley and William from Zimoko. They've got great news for the festive season. But in our Formula One report proper, Sergio Perez feels his shock maiden Formula One victory in Sunday's Sakhir Grand Prix came on merit after capitalizing on Mercedes' error to win the race for Racing Point. In Around the World in 60, we begin at the World Rugby headquarters in England, where former All Blacks captain Richie McCaw and France star Jessie Tremaille have been voted the men's and women's rugby players of the past decade. In New Zealand, Black Caps captain Kane Williamson is up to second in the ICC Test batting rankings after his career best 251 against West Indies in Hamilton. And in Spain, Rafael Nadal has received the Community of Madrid's highest honor, the Grand Cross of the Order of Dos de Mayo. I did say at the top of the show, it's Top Hit Tuesday, so don't miss out on our play of the day where we play nothing but the top hits, especially in the festive season. It's prime time listening entertainment on your top sports show right here on Drive Time Radio. And then we kick off the beautiful game on the continent in Egypt, where Al Ahly head coach Pitso Mosimane admits he's been looked down upon by European coaches in Egypt despite his success. We'll go to England, where Paul Pogba, the saga continues, and Mino Raiola, his agent, says that Pogba is unhappy at United and has to change teams in the next transfer window. And then, being a Tuesday, we'll also dip into France, where according to Kylian Mbappe's father, the forward has not been distracted by contract talks with PSG, even if his performance levels have dropped off late. And then it's the UEFA Champions League action tonight. United will be looking to book their spot in the last 16 when they face a daunting trip to RB Leipzig in Germany. As always, we start with our power play, and today we call upon Miley Cyrus. It's featuring Billy Idol, and it's called Night Crawling.
The Warriors, the Chevrons, the Cheetahs, the Mighty Warriors, and the Sables. From the pool to the track to the field, we are Team Zimbabwe. The Home Front. Local sports news and analysis.
Don't forget, we're on Twitter. Follow and interact with @ZFM Sport, or search for us by name @Mike Madoda, @Barry Manandi, or @Sean Tafirenyika. Now let's get into the news on the home front. The SRC, that's the Sports and Recreation Commission, say that they're in the process of restructuring the regulatory authority and repealing the old SRC Act in a move meant to ensure more efficiency, inclusivity and compliance by national sports associations. Speaking during a Meet the Media brief in Harare yesterday, the chairperson of the Sports Commission, Gerald Molochwa, says the SRC hope to complete the exercise by June next year. Let's hear from the SRC chairman, who also suggested that any FIFA ban could be of benefit to Zimbabwe football.
If FIFA do not care about us, then That is the secret rate. Let me put it that way. Because we keep getting these reports, insinuations. Oh, I'm just scared of people. I'm just scared of what they're going to do. And I throw the question back to you as media practitioners. Have we analyzed from a media perspective to say if ZiFM was banned, what effect would it actually have on football in this country? I'm throwing this question to you. What effect will it have? Will football collapse? Will our clubs collapse? Our leagues? What is it that will actually happen? Interrogate them. Let's have a public debate over that.
Barry, the SRC chairman there, Gerald Molochwa, speaking yesterday, and he says that the primary concern of the Sports and Recreation Commission is the well-being of Zimbabwe's sport, and they will not be deterred by those who want to hide behind FIFA sanctions. So this impasse between the SRC and ZiFM is gone on to another level.
It really has, and I think the comments, the rhetoric that's coming from either side is getting more and more putrid as we go on and on in the saga, and that's a real concern because there's more hostility now than there was at the beginning of all of this. And what one would have liked to see is to see the Sports Commission as the regulatory authority put out possibly a 6-point plan, 7 points, 10 points, or whatever, that ZiFM needs to comply with for them to be considered as not a problem child, but a child in right standing. Then ZiFM has a time to actually do that, let's say 6 months, and we want to see this by June next year, rather than this idea where already there seems to be bad blood.
Well, Barry, this belligerence, don't you think it's stemming from the fact that it's two organizations that have so far failed to get together, get in a team huddle and thrash it out? Because so far, what we have been dealt with, or at least treated to, is press releases, media briefings, but there's never been the occasion where the SRC and ZiFM are coming together to thresh out their differences, and the SRC saying, okay, you know what, these are our expectations of you as an organizations and as the ones who are overseeing sport in the country, and ZiFM also registering their concerns and then thrashing it out like, should I say, two adult human beings.
Yeah, and the tragedy is that when they have sat in the same room, they've opted to deal with issues rather than deal with the elephant in the room, because in truth, when they've sat down, they've been talking about the return of football and the bubble concept and blah, 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 blah. But those are just symptoms of the overall disease. And the overall disease is that SRC feels ZiFM is not compliant to the laws of the land, and ZiFM feels that SRC is overreaching. If they were to sit and discuss that, who knows? Maybe they might find each other. But at this rate, we are going on a fast march to a very dangerous place for football.
Well, let's go to the SRC Act, Barry, and the Sports Commission, of course, they derive their mandate from the Sports and Recreation Act, and they report to the parent Ministry of Youth, Sports, Arts and Recreation. And that SRC Act was created by an Act of Parliament in 1991, Chapter 25.15. Now, Barry, are you happy with the news that this particular act, the SRC feels is outdated and no longer fit for purpose? And do you agree?
Look, to an extent I do. Whether I can get excited of the new one that's coming without knowing the contents, can't really. That this one needed reform and change is beyond question and doubt. Perhaps there was an opportunity even to just tweak this one a little bit. I've heard it called twerk, but let's tweak it rather than twerk it. Let's tweak this one. There was an opportunity for that, but they've looked for an overall overhaul, and that's fine. Let's do that, but let's make sure that we are moving sport forward by the new act that comes in.
And that new act that's coming in, Barry, and I guess it needs to be said that I hope it doesn't sort of like put all power in the hands of the SRC and dilute the function and effectiveness and independence of the different NSAs, your national sports associations. But I was happy, Barry, that one of the things that was talked about and mentioned by Gerald Molochwa is the fact that they're looking to reconstitute the board, the SRC board, and by that trying to work on a new framework for appointments to that board, where the national sports associations as well are having representatives at the SRC.
Yeah, it's very good because what you've got now is you've got a group of ministerial appointees who are superintending over sport, and the NSAs feel that there's the big brother mentality, there's the ugly green monster that sits at the National Sports Stadium and then just comes out to wield the axe and suspend and ban and all sorts. If the NSAs are sitting on the same board and the minister has a quota of board seats that he or she can fill, and then the rest of the seats are filled by NSA representatives, then we have an all-inclusive process, and everyone can live and die by the decisions made by the SRC. So yes, I completely agree with you. That's another good one that came out of the engagement yesterday. Even all of those futuristic comments are all positive, and if implementation and execution is done on even half of the things that they mentioned yesterday, I think we'll be in a better place as Zimbabwe sport. The real concerning one is that there is this impasse with ZIFA. It seems to be escalating, and that could be quite a difficult period, certainly 2 to 3 years for football, and nobody wants that. Hopefully they can smoke the peace pipe.
Well, let's find out, Barry, if nobody wants that. Get in touch with us on Twitter. Send us your thoughts. Ban or no ban? What do you think is best for Zimbabwe football? Do you think that ZIFA is so bad that we should risk the ban, take the ban, and in the process clean up our act, clean up our football? Or are you of the opinion that no one wants the ban? Let's try and get our heads together, fix football, and make sure that we avoid the ban at all costs. Get in touch with us. Tweet us at ZiFM Sport, at Barry Menandi, at Mike Madoda, at Shonta Firenyika.
Hi, my name's Ryan Cairns, Sunshine Tour professional golfer, and you're listening to ZiFM Sport.
Let's give you a local sports news roundup, starting with golf. In form, Zimbabwe golfer Robson Chinoi continued with his run, winning the Ugandan Open Championship with 10 strokes ahead of his nearest rival, Deo Akope, in Kampala. It has been a fruitful 2 months for Chinoi, who also won the second leg of the Safari Tour Golf Series at the Par 72 Royal Nairobi Golf Club in Kenya, and walked away with the top prize at the weekend following a brilliant round of 5 under par 67 in the closing round. On to tennis news now. Finals of the International Tennis Federation, the ITF South Central Under 18 Zimbabwe Leg 1 tournament held at Bulawayo Country Club were rained out at the weekend. Now, the week-long tournament, which was hit by intermittent disruptions from the onset on Monday last week, got to the final of the boys and girls categories, but ended without any winners due to wet courts. Some players are now in Harare to take part in the second leg of the circuit that started today. We sorely need the rain, so it's hard to complain about them. Let's wrap it up with football news, where after watching his under-20 national side suffering a startling 2-0 loss to Mozambique in the COSAFA Championships in South Africa on Sunday, coach Tondera Ndiraya condemned his players for lacking basic football techniques. The defeat left the young Warriors virtually out of the competition, as they have to beat Lesotho by at least 8 goals.
Hi, this is Mike Madoda, and you can catch me and the team for all the latest breaking news out of the world of sport, local as well as international, on your favorite station, my station, your station, ZiFM. We are Z-Team on ZiFM Sport.
Z International Sports News Roundup, where the world comes out to play. From sunny Melbourne to the streets of Monaco, the deserts of Bahrain to the jungles of Brazil, get up to speed on the Formula One Report. The Formula One Report is proudly brought to you by Zimoco, the home of F1 brands Mercedes-Benz and Alfa Romeo in Zimbabwe. Zimoco, specialized service for special brands.
It's Formula One Report, proudly brought to you by Zimoco. This is our staple each and every Tuesday, where we give you the lowdown on what's happening in Formula One. But today, we got a special for you. We are joined by 2 business development executives from Zimoco, and they're going to be giving us some exciting news about what's happening at Zimoco over the festive season. I'm pleased to be joined by William Simanda. Good evening and welcome, William.
Good evening, Mike. It's great to be on the show.
Absolutely. We also have Bradley Joseph. Bradley Joseph, I understand you're a keen Formula One fan, and no surprises that you were backing Lewis Hamilton.
100%. How are you, Mike? Thanks to have me.
I'm doing fine, guys, and pleased to have you on ZiFM Sport. Now, let's just get into the meat of the matter, William. A lot of talk by people saying that, you know what, it's important, it's wise that you partner with a reputable authorized distributor. In this case, of course, Zimoco. Why is that? What is the logic behind making such a decision?
You know what, Mike? If you look at your assets, after your house, probably your car is the second most expensive asset. Obviously, if you spend that kind of money, you're going to want to retain the value of your asset. So let's talk money. I think that's something that people are going to understand. If you look at the resale value of your vehicle, Mike, if you have your vehicle serviced by an authorized distributor, you'll find that it retains its value much more than when you don't do so. I was looking on HPI.com. They say that a vehicle with a service record from an authorized distributor can fetch as much as 40% more than a vehicle without a service record. I think that just makes sense. That's a big amount, Mike. It just makes sense.
It certainly makes sense. And which leads me to ask you again, which brands do you service and repair at Zimoco?
Mike, we do Mercedes-Benz, we do Jeep and Chrysler brands like Dodge, and all the Chrysler brands like the 300C, etc. We also do GWM, Haval, Mitsubishi, and Fiat. So all these brands we service at Zimoco.
So Bradley, it just tells me that Zimoco is not what it used to be traditionally. You know, you go back 15, 20 years ago, people associated Zimoco with just strictly Mercedes-Benz.
Yes, very true, Mike. But yeah, Mercedes-Benz is our flagship brand. It's our pride and joy. It's what has cemented us in the market. But we do have the other brands, as William has mentioned, and we're very proud of them. We're representing them well, and the market is responding to them well as well.
Absolutely. It is Christmas time, and it's the season for giving. Bradley, tell us about some of the specials that you've got at Zimoco. I understand that if you're interested in a Mitsubishi, for example, there's something for you. The Jeep lovers, there's something for you. And of course, the flagship brand, Mercedes.
Yeah, something for everybody, Mike. Coming into Christmas and just coming out of the Black Friday, we've continued the discounts on 3 models. Mercedes-Benz GLE 400 Coupe, a lovely vehicle, lovely sporty look. It's priced at €124,000. We've got our Jeep Grand Cherokee Overland, the Overland being the top spec of the Jeep Grand Cherokees. This is priced at a very affordable $120,000, and the very popular Mitsubishi Pajero Sport, which is a 7-seater SUV, priced at $59,900. These are all the discounted prices, Michael.
Absolutely fantastic. So those vehicles, I'll just repeat again, the Mercedes GLE 400 Coupe, the Jeep Grand Cherokee Overland, that's the top spec amongst the Jeep vehicles, and of course the Mitsubishi Pajero Sport, a very handsome vehicle, this one. I love it. Looks really good, and I'm sure drives even better. All available at special discounted prices from Zimoco. You want to get in touch with them, and we'll be continuing this discussion after we give you some Formula One news and finding out what more Zimoco is offering you over the festive season.
On to our Formula One report proper, where Sergio Perez feels his shock maiden Formula One victory in Sunday's Sakhir Grand Prix came on merit after capitalizing on Mercedes' error to win the race for Racing Point. But despite his success, which has left his team on the verge of securing third place in the Constructors' Championship, Perez is in danger of being out of Formula One next year. He is being replaced at the soon-to-be renamed Aston Martin team by Sebastian Vettel for next year, and his only hope of a seat now rests with Red Bull, which is reluctant to give up on Alex Albon. Let's hear from Sergio Perez after his race victory.
We were discussing whether to pit or not, and we had no tires. We had to be under the strategy, so we had to go out, to stay out, and there was a point in the race with the vibrations. They were so bad at one point that I couldn't hold the wheel in the first stint. You know, my hands were hurting bad. the pace was still strong. So once we went onto the other set of tires, I told my team, well, this just feels like a limousine, you know. So it's looking good. Was looking good at that point, but we never thought we were going to win today.
Well, proving that he's still got the talent, the ability to cut the mustard in Formula One. Hopefully he gets a seat for next season. Your driver standings still look like this. Lewis Hamilton is champion, Valtteri Bottas in second, Max Verstappen, Sergio Perez is in fourth, and in fifth is Daniel Ricciardo. The constructor standing looking a little more interesting because Mercedes are champions, yes, but in second, Red Bull, that's nailed on. Racing Point is now in third, and then McLaren is in fourth and Renault is in fifth. All very interesting. And the last race of the season happens this Sunday. It's in Abu Dhabi under the lights. Should be an exciting one. We're talking to two special guests from Zimoko today, William Sibanda as well as Bradley Joseph, two business development executives from our partners, and they were just talking us through the reasons why you need to partner with Zimoko, who are an authorized distributor, not just of Mercedes, their flagship brand, but other brands as well, such as Jeep and Mitsubishi, and the wonderful specials that are on offer this festive season. Now, let me come back to you, William, and we started the talk on specials over Christmas, and we heard those wonderful prices. If you want to go pick up a Mercedes GLE 400 Coupe, for example, there's a nice discounted price for you. What other specials are you offering your customers and partners this festive season?
Mike, before I even get into that, let me start by saying that our customers are assured of this when they come to Zimoko. They are assured of trained technicians, they are assured of approved parts, they are assured that the vehicle, the warranty on their vehicle will remain, and that's really important, Mike. There's one thing as well that I want to mention, Mike, that people forget many times. There are software updates that modern vehicles have to have from time to time. And just to give you an example that a lot of people will understand, Mike, I don't know whether you've ever had to update your WhatsApp.
Yeah, we do that all the time. You know, they're constant updates.
But if you don't update your WhatsApp, you know what happens? It comes to a point when it doesn't work. The same thing happens with the vehicle. Now, when you update your WhatsApp, if you don't update your WhatsApp, you may need to backdate the date on your phone for it to start working again. And that's exactly what happens when you take your vehicle to a non-authorized distributor. They're actually just trying to find a way around it. But in the end, it really affects your vehicle, Mike.
So you're telling me that, for example, when you bring your car in for service, it's more than just about changing the air filter and the oil filter. There's a lot more that goes into what you call servicing a vehicle, especially those brands that we are talking about.
Absolutely, Mike. There are software updates that your vehicle will have from time to time, and these ensure that your vehicle will continue to work and it remains in its original condition. So let me get to the service specials,
Yeah, I was going to ask that because a lot of people, especially now with the holidays coming up, you know, they want to make sure that their vehicles are good enough to do the long haul trips, whether they're nipping over to Nyanga, to Victoria Falls, those that are nipping across the borders into South Africa. They want to make sure that their vehicles are up to scratch, so they want to send them in for a service. What's in for our drivers this festive season?
Mike, I'm absolutely excited to say that we've got a service promotion that we're running on Mercedes and Jeep Chrysler brands. We've got minor and major services starting from as little as $248. Let me say that again, Mike, $248. How affordable is this? So besides it being affordable, Mike, this is a fully fledged service that we're giving to our customers. Sometimes when people take their vehicles for servicing outside of an authorized distributor, people simply change your oil and your oil filter and they tell you they've done a major service. But we are doing a fully fledged service. And over above that, there's more to it, Mike. Okay, you're going to get a diagnostic report on your vehicle. You're going to get a vehicle health report. And then also, you're going to find that we have two service centers. You can bring your vehicle at 24 Douglas Road out in Workington if you're in industrial areas, or if you're out there in the north of the city, you can take it to our Borodale Service Center. How convenient is that?
Absolutely convenient. So 2 service centers for you. Douglas Road out in the industrial, that is Workington. And of course, if you're in the northern suburbs, all the surrounding areas, you can nip over to Sam Levy's Village and they'll be able to service your vehicle right there. Now, Bradley, you did say you're a Formula One fan, and so you will understand the discussion that's currently underway in Formula One around the environment, around emissions. And so, is this something that Zimoco is also taking seriously? Is this something that, for example, Mercedes is taking it seriously? Maybe talk us through that.
Yes, it's actually it's a very serious topic. It's affecting our environment, weather patterns and all of that. And from the manufacturer's perspectives, because we speak directly with the manufacturers as authorized distributors, and the message they've given to us is that this is key in terms of their future plans. I actually read an article in the paper about 3 weeks ago where a brand had actually gone out and said that they would only be selling electric vehicles by the year 2030, if I'm not mistaken, which is just around the corner.
Around the corner, yeah.
Right, now coming to that, all of our brands have embraced this move to clean environment, clean emissions. So basically what I'm saying is that there's going to be a transition or a move from our traditional combustion engines, and we'll see it across all brands in the market, to electric, to hybrid first, and then to electric vehicles, fully fledged electric vehicles. I'm happy to say that in our stables, we can actually offer hybrid vehicles as we speak. So if anyone's interested in that, wants to be responsible to the environment and society, come through, let's have a discussion. We can bring in a hybrid or an electric vehicle for you.
Oh, fantastic. So exciting developments on the horizon at Zimoco, working through their manufacturers. And as we wrap up, guys, our discussion, I just want to find out, Bradley, what's new for 2021? We talked about the festive season 2020. Going through to 2021, apart from the hybrid engines, apart from development and the movement towards the electric vehicle, what else is exciting and that we can look forward to in 2021?
Lots of excitement, Mike. I could go on for a while. Let me just touch on the key exciting things that are going to happen. I'll start with our Haval SUV range. Something very exciting in the first quarter in Zimbabwe will be a launch of a very, very competitively priced new technology in the vehicle. An exciting double cab is coming to the Zimbabwean market. And I truly believe that it's going to shake ground, it's going to challenge the norm, and it's going to take things to the next level. Okay, that's on Haval. If we come across to Jeep. Jeep has been a brand long-standing in the market. It is actually going through an overhaul. A lot of new product coming in. If you look at the key models, the Grand Cherokee will have a new model coming in. The Jeep Compass, we're going to have a wider range and offering on the Jeep Compass. The Wrangler, for those who are outdoor enthusiasts, like to go outdoors in style, that's also coming in with a few new things on it. And then the ever so powerful SRT is also coming in as a new model. That's under Jeep. Can I go on to our flagship Mercedes-Benz, Mike?
You have to.
Okay, let me just say that first and foremost, what is here on the ground right now, and I think we've spoken about it on other shows and things like that, is the all-new GLE SUV. It's readily available. We've actually got units in stock in our bonded warehouse locally. If anybody wants this new vehicle, it's readily available. Over and above that, available just before the end of the year is two exciting models, the all-new E-Class and then the GLS. This is the big SUV, and yeah, is available. I've got units coming through, available stock for those who want to see the units. They'll be in the showroom over the Christmas shutdown. And coming again is the new S-Class. There's been a few adverts around it. I've seen on social media. We've actually posted a few on our social media sites. The S-Class will be available in the second half of the year. And then another exciting product is in the mid-size SUV range is the all-new GLB. An exciting product going to be competitively priced for what I see as a gap in our market.
Oh, fantastic. So lots and lots of exciting stuff to look forward to as Zimbabwe promises to be an exciting 2021. So William and Bradley, guys, thank you so much for joining us on ZiFM Sport.
Thank you,
Mike.
Mike.
On the show, Mike. Take care, man.
The Formula One Report is proudly brought to you by Zimoco, the home of F1 brands Mercedes-Benz and Alfa Romeo in Zimbabwe. Zimoco, specialized service for special brands.
Hi, I'm Trevor Nyakani, the Blue Bulls and Springbok prop, and now you're listening to ZiFM Sports.
Around the world in 60 seconds. International sports news.
We take off at the World Rugby headquarters in England, where former All Blacks captain Richie McCaw and France star Jessie Tremollier have been voted the men's and women's rugby players of the past decade. Two-time World Cup winner McCaw and Tremollier, who had played both 15s and 7s for France since 2011, topped a worldwide public vote on the best male and female 15s players between 2010 and 2019. Richie McCaw was one of 7 past or present All Blacks named in the World Rugby Men's 15s team of the decade. And I'm pleased to say that Zimbabwe had 2 players, David Pocock of Australia and the Beast, Tendai Mutawarira of South Africa.
Brilliant.
That is a lot more than England, who actually had none, Barry.
Brilliant. Absolutely. Means we're a better rugby nation than England.
Absolutely. Let's go to New Zealand, where Black Caps captain Kane Williamson is up to second in the ICC Test batting rankings after his career best 251 against the West Indies in Hamilton. Williamson's knock, which came in an innings and 134-run win for his side, saw him move level on 886 points with India captain Virat Kohli, with only Australia's Steve Smith, who has 911 points above them. And we touch down in Spain, where Rafael Nadal has received the Community of Madrid's highest honor, the Grand Cross of the Order of Dos de Mayo. In a season that was defined by the coronavirus pandemic, Nadal has sent a message in support of the people who have lost loved ones and paid tribute to all the health workers, and he has been acknowledged for his off-court activities.
Hi, I'm Clemens Matau, chicken in midfielder. You're listening to ZiFM Sports.
The big leagues, the big teams, the big players. The beautiful game on ZiFM Sport. The beating drum. The roaring fans. Take a ride on the wild side with the Africa Report on ZiFM Sport.
Oh, that Africa sting gives me goosebumps every time I hear it. Those drums, they do something to me. Anyway, we're talking the continent, and we're talking Al Ahly head coach Pitso Mosimane, who admits he's been looked down upon by European coaches in Egypt despite his success. Mosimane lifted a 3rd trophy in the space of his first 2 months at the club, as the Red Devils wrapped up a treble so far in 2019-2020 with Saturday night's penalties Egyptian Cup victory against El Gaish. Michael, this is, yes, he's talking about Egypt and the European coaches there, that they don't certainly show him the respect that he's due. But does Pitso Mosimane suffer that in the world of football generally, in the sense that, number one, he's a black coach, number two, he's from Southern Africa, but this man has done things that a lot of coaches on the continent can't stake a claim to?
Yeah, absolutely, Barry. And he does suffer as a result of those things, Barry. He's having to fight his way literally from the bottom rung going up. And what am I talking about? First of all, he's black. Okay, let's not take that away from him. And not only he's black, he's African. Thirdly, not only is he African, he's from the southern part of Africa. And yet Europe's perception of football is that West Africa and North Africa are the footballing powerhouses on the continent here. So Southern Africa is not seen as being as strong or having the pedigree that the West and the North have. So that is what he's having to fight against, Barry. But you and I know that Pitso Mosimane is not the one who's lacing up the boots and running onto the field. So whilst the pedigree might apply in the manner that the Europeans think, when it comes to having tactical acumen, when it comes to having a mind for the game, Pitso Mosimane has proved that he can mix it with the best. He has constantly outwitted coaches that have come in from the UEFA region to ply their trade here in Africa. He's consistently outwitted them in South Africa when he was in the ABSA Premiership, and he's now doing it in Egypt, as well as twice having done it in the CAF Champions League on the continent with Mamelodi Sundowns as well as Al Ahly. So I can understand where he's coming from, where he feels that he does not get the respect that he deserves.
Does it therefore is it going to help? Is more probably a better jump-off point for my question to you. Does it help that he's going to go to the Club World Cup whenever it takes place, because by virtue of being CAF Champions League champions with Al Ahly, and he's going to face possibly the best of the best from the various confederations. So Asia will be there, you'll have your South Americans there, you'll have your Central and North Americans there, and then of course you'll have the best of the best out of UEFA. And there's a good opportunity for him to actually show his mettle against the best.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Pitso is always believed, Barry, that he belongs at the very top table. And so he's going to have plenty of opportunities. Starting now, when he goes to the next edition of the Club World Cup, he's going to have that opportunity with Al Ahly. And he's going to have possibly repeat opportunities, because Al Ahly offers him the prospects of consistently fighting for African representative at that competition by virtue of the fact that they will always do well in the CAF Champions League. So if Pitso wanted an opportunity to prove his detractors wrong, he's got one. If Pitso wanted an opportunity to prove that he's as good as the next man, he's got one.
Yeah, absolutely got one. And just your quick comments on this new licensing regime. CAF has now got a pro license, didn't have one before. The highest qualification you could get on the continent was, of course, the A license. Now you can get the pro license, and they want to enforce that and ensure that coaches who don't have that qualification at the highest level aren't able to sit on the bench. What are your thoughts on CAF being as rigid as they seemed like they wanted to be?
I think this is as a result of lobbying, Barry. Lobbying by those that represent local coaches who feel that some of the prime jobs on the continent are being lost to coaches who are coming in from other continents, mainly from Europe. So you've got a number of coaches. For example, if you take a look at Joseph Zimbao, who's at Orlando Pirates, he's a coach, I think he was with Schalke 04 in the Bundesliga. And the likes of him, I'm just using him as an example, not saying that he's not up to scratch, but there are a number of names. You take a look at coaches who are in East Africa, in Tanzania and Kenya. You take a look at South Africa. You take a look at West Africa, a number of European coaches. And I think local coaches feel that the prime jobs they are missing out on as a result of that. And so they're going to try and make it that much harder for European coaches to come and coach on the continent by coming up with this, because there's no reason why, to be honest, someone who's qualified in Europe shouldn't be able to come and coach on the continent of Africa, because football is a universal game. It's a universal language.
Yeah, it certainly is, and the hope is that reason will prevail, and we will see the best of the best. If you're able, I believe you should just sit on the bench. But Pitso Mosimane is definitely one of the best that we have, and hopefully he will get his fair dues in due time.
There was football in England last night. Brighton, they remain without a Premier League home win since this season started after Danny Ings, who was returning from injury, scored a winner from the spot for the Saints, a penalty that was awarded by VAR in a 2-1 victory for Southampton. You'd have thought that the discussion in England would be around that, but it's not. It's around Paul Pogba. His saga is back and it's raging. His agent, Mino Raiola, says that Pogba is unhappy at United and has to change teams in the next transfer window, which is just a little under 4 weeks away. Pogba, now 27 years of age, has made only 8 Premier League appearances this season, starting 5, and scored his first goal of the campaign on Saturday. Your thoughts on that, Barry? Pogba, he hasn't been at his best for a while now. In fact, it would be fair to say he's never been at his best for Manchester United.
No, yeah.
Is Raiola right to say that, you know what, perhaps it may be time he found opportunities elsewhere?
Look, I think it's fair to say that Mino Raiola is absolutely right. But the fact, we know that Mino Raiola has a playbook, and the fact that he's gone public with this is basically an advert to all clubs to say, come and get him. And so clubs are now going to obviously realize that, he's on the market and he's available. And those that are interested are going to start talking to Mino Raiola. Yes, in its rawest sense, it is correct, and one would have hoped that this would happen in the background. But Mino Raiola, we know, is a very shrewd tactician, and this is just him putting out an advert for his client.
Neymar, Mbappé, Dibaye, and now Tino Kadewere enjoys a taste of the French football on ZiFM Sport.
Let's go to France now. According to Kylian Mbappe's father, the forward has not been distracted by contract talks with Paris Saint-Germain, even if his performances levels have dropped of late. France international Mbappe is into the final 18 months of his deal at the Parc des Princes and has been largely linked with a move to La Liga giants Real Madrid. We'll watch that one carefully for you and keep you appraised as to what's happening. A quick look at our boys who are in France. Tino Kadewere started for Olympique Lyonnais in their 3-1 win over Metz. He was later replaced by Moussa Dembele, and Marshall Munetsi played 90 minutes for Stade de Reims in their goalless draw with Nice. Match day 6 in the UEFA Champions League begins tonight. Action from Groups E through to H. But we'll of course be centering in on Group H, where United will be looking to book their spot in the last 16 stage of the Champions League when they face RB Leipzig in Germany. The English Giants are level on 9 points with both Leipzig and PSG in a fascinating Group H and need to avoid defeat at the Red Bull Arena in order to progress to the knockout stages. Let's hear from their manager, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who insists that United won't play for a draw in Germany.
Well, I think you got to approach the game as in it's a 90-minute game. You know that anything can happen in any moment, so you can't sit back and hope for a 0-0 draw. That's not in our genes. It's not in the team's genes. It's not in the club's genes. We want to go out there and win a game of football. I think we showed that against PSG, that we wanted to go out and create chances. You have to create chances to score goals, and we'll do that again.
Is that the right approach, Barry? Go out, all attack, gung-ho?
I'm tempted to say these are lies. Because I think that I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows that, look, in truth, a draw will do it. And I think it would be a bit petulant and naive for him to go out and try and go gung-ho and go for it. Because what it'll do is that'll create an open game. We've seen RB Leipzig in open games, they often end up on top. It could end 3-2, it could end 4-3 even. But chances are Leipzig will have scored more goals than you.
Barry, United had the perfect start to their Champions League campaign. This was supposed to be the group of death, but United won in Paris. They then thumped RB Leipzig 5-0, and everyone thought that, you know what, with 6 points after 2 matches, United was a shoo-in for qualification to the knockout stages. But here, they find themselves very hoping against hope that RB Leipzig doesn't play as well as they did versus Bayern Munich over the weekend.
Yeah, for sure.
It could be a disaster if they're knocked out.
It really could, and you've summarized it perfectly. I think we saw almost a game of two halves with Manchester United, because the first half of their performance in this Champions League edition was scintillating. We thought that they were going to go at a canter into the next round. And then the second half of their performance, it started with that, of course, that game against Istanbul Başakşehir, where they were completely off color, and then losing against Paris Saint-Germain. Now they go into this game, their domestic form notwithstanding, they go into this game with all kinds of questions in their heads. If they can get over the mental block, they've got a chance, but it's going to be tough.
It's going to be a tough one out at the Red Bull Arena in Leipzig. United taking on the German side, who are currently second in the Bundesliga. Your other fixture from that group will see PSG take on Istanbul Başakşehir, and of course the PSG know that victory or a point will stand them in good stead in that match. Let's go to Group G, where there's another big game. It's Barcelona versus Juventus. It's Cristiano Ronaldo versus Lionel Messi. Barcelona, Barry, have had an absolutely wonderful Champions League, haven't they?
They really have, and it's been almost the diametric opposite of their domestic form, which has been up and down, if we want to be kind. But in the Champions League, they've been great. And so it makes this encounter, albeit that it's almost a dead rubber because they've both qualified, very interesting, especially with the subplot of the Messi-Ronaldo reunion.
Yeah, Messi and Ronaldo, yes, Barry, but surely these two teams will try and fight out for first place, because it will be decided on the head-to-head. I think if you take a look at the goal difference, Barcelona's goal difference is 7 better than Juventus, so it's never going to be that. It's going to be the head-to-head, because if Juventus win, they draw level with Barcelona on 15 points. Now, Barcelona did beat Juve in Italy, so Juventus will need to get a better result at the Camp Nou than Barca did in Italy.
They will. They certainly will. They'll be up for it. And so all to play for. Hopefully it's going to be an open game, because I don't think these two managers know how to play any other way. Pirlo likes to play a passing game that develops beautifully going forward, score beautiful goals. Koeman, on the other hand, loves to play a high-intensity passing game that has quick movements, ball rotation. So it's a fascinating plot between the two managers.
Pick a winner, Barry.
No, I don't want to. Okay, all right. I reckon that it will probably be Barcelona. They've had a fantastic Champions League run so far. They've got no draws, no losses, all wins. I think they're going to go perfect.
Okay, your other fixture from Group G, we'll see Dynamo Kiev taking on Ferencvarosi. Other fixtures for you, Group E, Chelsea versus Krasnodar. They've already qualified, Chelsea, and top the group. Rennes will take on Sevilla, and Group F sees Lazio taking on Club Brugge, while Zenit St. Petersburg will entertain German side Borussia Dortmund.
Makes for an interesting Champions League night. They often are. We'll catch you tomorrow for the show, 5 after 6, right here on ZiFM Stereo. Don't miss it. May God richly bless you. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Manandi, out.
And it's Messi! It is the cleanest of clean finishes from the best on the planet.
The biggest sports stories.
Liverpool, the champions of Europe, are top of the world.
The biggest interviews.
That such a great spectacle is ruined by such thuggish behavior.
And all the analysis right here.
He's the one player that has the arrogance to think that he can play in any stadium in the world and any pitch in the world in front of any player in the world and take them on.
Every weekday, it's my sport, it's your sport. It's ZiFM Sport on ZiFM Stereo. My station, your station.